attraction, and who we are all here to see is the beautiful Cherie Hausler. Here we are up front here. Give a round of applause. So Cherie is a food stylist. She's a writer. She's a tea blender. She develops recipes. She also co-owns a restaurant called Eat Me, which is located in Bangkok. But her heart and soul, which it has been for about 3 years now, is all the things. I'm going to hand it over to Cherie to let us know, what are all the things? Tell us about it.
It's not just one thing that we do. So all the things, has anyone tried any of our products? That was a really brave thing for me to do, because some of you may never have heard of us. Most of you haven't. But all the things, I suppose in South Australia, we're probably best known for our vegan cheeses. So we do a brie and a camembert. We do a couple of bries actually and a camembert, and they're aged and hand turned and hand salted and hand dashed, and the exact same scenario you'd see in a dairy cheese making facility, except of course we don't use dairy, we use cashews. So they have the white mold that blooms through over the 12-day period, and it's a very traditional process that we follow. So that's the most difficult product to make, the most finicky product, the thing that everything can go wrong with, and the one that everybody wants. And then further down the line, we get to the easier to make products, and of course they're the ones that people don't go for so often. So you know, the hierarchy's already set. But we also have some South Australian based almond ricottas, so almond curds, and all of our products use the probiotics. So we have a clinical grade probiotic that we use. I'm not bagging out supermarket probiotics, but just to let you know that we take things quite seriously with what we do. And that's what I'm going to use today. We're going to use some of our smoked almond curd or ricotta, whichever way you want to kind of call it. We are in the midst of changing that name actually. So it's seen as curd now, but nobody could figure out what the heck that was. So I'm just going to change it to ricotta and be done with it, not try and, you know, make things more magical than they need to be. And then we also have our butter. We have a Luxor Paste, which is definitely an underdog in our range, but I can tell you it's one of my personal favorites because the restaurant in Bangkok used to, BC, spend a lot of time in Thailand, and it is really hard to get clean ingredients in a lot of the curry pastes. So I came up with one myself, and I love it. I just love that. But again, it's the thing that not so many people know us for, but it's out there. And then we also have a green miso, and we have our green gamasio, which I have to use today as well. So what we're going to do is make a smoked almond gnocchi. Just a warning, it does have nuts in it. Just a warning, I will be using oil. I know that a lot of what you've been hearing about today is about what you shouldn't eat, and then there's what you should eat, and I'm just going to let you make up your own mind on that, and we'll see if we can come up with something delicious together, and then you get to have a little taste at the end of it. But further to Chantel's comment, I did just want to acknowledge how brilliant it feels that we can all get together and actually hang out like this, because, I mean, it almost feels normal. Well, until kids bang up against the side of the tent and set the dogs off, and then, you know, it's all crazy again. But just on that, so that, you know, because life really weird really quickly, didn't it, across the last couple of years. So can you just do me a favor? I promise I'm not going to do loads of, you know, getting you involved. But if you can just turn around to the person behind you and say hi, just so that, you know, it's a nice thing that we can all actually get together and be in the same space, and so that we don't do social distancing, that we're doing social distancing but actually still appreciative of each other being in the space, which I think is very cool. So, all right, shall we get into this? I did have another idea in the car on the way home. I live in the Barossa, and so I was driving down with a friend today. And this is a crowd participation thing. Well, besides the eating part, which will happen at the end, but there's just, I only need one person. Is there anyone who's up for and good at directing a phone on video? Come on, come on, come on. Excellent, come on up. Because I thought there's loads of people who can't be here, right? And not that I want to rub that in, I don't. I just want to bring some more people into the circle. And so I know that we have a lot of people who follow us on Instagram that are not based in South Australia. So we can all do an Instagram live. Hi, what's your name? Esther, brilliant. Okay, so is everybody up for this? There's no one here that I need to check with your agent, get this signed off. You're all good to be on camera. Okay, excellent, good to know. So does everyone know what an Instagram live is? I'm presuming. Okay. So what we're going to do, this is just an explanation for you because nobody else said that. Well, you can feel special, not weird. So what we're going to do is I'll set this up, and then it streams out to anyone who wants to watch it who's on Instagram. So it just means that they can all be involved, which is going to be nice rather than sit on the sidelines. And you're going to need a starring role. Okay, so I'll just set this to live, and you're going to be okay to, you know, all the things, don't you? Did you see what I did there? All right. It's just checking the connection. Yes, we are live. Hi, everyone. Let me just tell you where we are. It's me, Cherie, and Esther's here too. We are at Vegan Festival Adelaide, and this is happening live. Oh, you guys, you are so good. You are so good. You know, we didn't even organize that. That was totally off the cuff. So I'm going to be cooking the smoked almond curd, and Esther's going to be on camera. So she's going to have it all covered. And at least then for everyone who couldn't be here at the vegan festival with us, and I'm not going to tell you it is the most stunning day, and I'm not going to tell you that the food is amazing, and I'm not going to tell you that the crowd is pumped. You're here as well. So let's get going. All right, I'm going to turn that around so that you can decide what you do with that, Esther, if you want to go here or there or wherever. All right, let's get into it. So this is seriously one of the easiest recipes ever. I know that blah, blah at the start kind of made it seem like I was going to be some snooty foodie person, but I'm not. I think that if you can have really simple recipes that look super impressive, that's my kind of cooking. So easy fancy, I call it. This recipe with the almond curd is one that I didn't intend to develop, but we started out doing the Barossa Farmers Market. And if anyone wants to launch a business anytime, I fully endorse doing that as a starting point at a local farmers market, because it's just extraordinary. You get all of that very honest feedback on what you're producing, and it really helped us to decide what our range was going to be. But when we had some almond curd, and you know, people have done all the things that you can do with ricotta with it, they were saying to me, yeah, okay, what else? I've done pizza and I've done salads and I've done sandwiches and I've put it in lasagna and I filled cannelloni, and now I want to do something else. So I started to make the gnocchi. And originally I did it for sale, and everybody would take some gnocchi, and I'd take in sage from my garden. These are both from my garden this morning. They've actually fared quite well. That's looking a little sad there. And everyone would take home this little package of, you know, homemade gnocchi and some sage, because we're going to do that in a brown butter. So this is basically the experience that if you'd have come to the farmers market, we're no longer there because things got a little bit big, so I couldn't quite fit that in, but shouldn't have chosen the name All the Things. It was a bit of a jinx because I couldn't quite pull off all the things in the end. But what we would do is just give everybody the experience that you're about to have. So I figure if we have this really simple recipe and you can get your hands on some almond curd. House of Health is probably one of the best places to get it. Central Market, they're fantastic with Chester. Then you're going to be able to whip this up because there's no fancy ingredients. So let me go to the fridge. I'm glad that did that. It was like I couldn't figure out how to open it before. I was standing there like a complete doofus. All right. Done. So this is our smoked almond curd, and yes, it's going to be unashamed advertising all throughout the session. We have a fresh version of this, and we also have, this is fresh as well, but we have a smoked version. So this is our smoked almond curd, and you can smell that amazing smell, and you guys will get to taste it once we've finished. So scoop out the whole jar of that. You're going to love how easy this is. Then the second ingredient, there's 4 ingredients in this. Well, actually, that's not entirely true because if I add the sage and I add the butter and some gamasio, but you know, that's just dressing. Okay, half a cup of water. That's Barossa rainwater in there. You don't have to use that. Yeah, just survived the storm, right? That was insane. I don't know how the grape growers are going. I was talking to my dad this morning. Yeah, bad, right? Oh, heck. Okay. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. And for all of us who have dogs, heck, they don't like hail, do they? Or thunder? No. I had to do that makeshift kind of thunder jacket, which is a doona wrapped up. Okay, so you literally just whip the water into the almond curd, and I'm just going to do this because otherwise you're not going to know what that looks like. So that's the I forgot your dog was there. That was pretty close, wasn't it? So that shows you the kind of consistency that we're talking about. So we've taken something that was set like like a ricotta, and then we've just given it a little bit of juice. So then that turns into something that's a bit of a runnier version, almost like a pancake batter version, if you want to start to, you know, liken it to other foods that you may have made. Okay, and then, yes, come on in, Esther. That's an excellent idea. Look at you go. Oh, she's even got the branding. Oh, I should see her go. Product placement. You are on point, Esther. I'm so glad you're here. Right. A little bit of salt. Teaspoon of that. How fancy are salts now? Heck, you can like find 29 different salts these days. This is a Celtic salt. It's delicious. I love it. Okay, so we'll mix that through. There is salt in the almond curd anyway, so up to you. But, you know, salt brings out flavour, so let's do that. And then we're going to add flour and a cup of that. All right, and then we'll have to have the flour conversation, won't we? Because if we've, you know, touched on salt, we're going to have the flour conversation. Okay, so a cup of that. This is a spelt flour, and into that I have added, I'm going to come down and share with you again. I've been on this buzz because I read a book by Will Bolsewitz, who's an MD. Oh, yay, I'm so glad there's someone else who's weird and reads gastroenterologist books. But that is such an amazing book, everyone. If you want to check it out, it's called Fiber Fueled. Kind of sounds like some American fad diet, which is an unfortunate thing because it's just not that, not at all. It's incredible information. And what it did was, at the same time that I read that, and he's talking about all of the issues with gut health and yada yada, and talking about, from his point of view as a gastroenterologist, if people could build their microbiome to be healthier than it is, then most of the issues that he was seeing wouldn't be seeing. So, I mean, it's a little bit more information than that. I've really paraphrased there, but that's the idea. So I was reading that at the same time that any sourdough bakers in here. You kidding me? Nobody's been baking sourdough. You know, there's been a pandemic and everyone bakes sourdough, right? Seriously, no one bakes sourdough. Okay, well, we're going to have to, that'll be next year. We'll do a sourdough baking thing here. So with sourdough, you know, it's a fermented product like our almond curd, like our cheeses, so good gut health. But the other thing is that with sourdough, yes, you've got that aspect, but, and I know this sounds a little bit gross, but sourdough is almost pre-digested, you know, because the activation that happens with the fermentation of sourdough means that you have the good bacteria in there, and it actually pre-digests the flour. So that's another health aspect. But I was reading a book, and it's by Vanessa Kimball, and it's called The Sourdough School. She's got one that's sweet and one that's savory. I was reading well, I've got both, but I was reading the sweet one. And she talks about how to increase diversity in what you're eating by introducing more plants. We all know this, right? I mean, we're at a vegan festival, but aside from that, the key piece of information that she added was that in order to build your microbiome, you have to offer enormous diversity to your microbiome. So if you consider that every aspect of your microbiome, so each little biota, requires a different plant to feed it, because plants are fiber and your microbiome grows on fiber. Fiber's not anywhere else, it's just in plants. Then you want to eat as many different plants as possible. She suggests 30 different plants a day. And I know when I said this to my mum, who's not vegan, not even close, but she's really interested in all of these things that I come up with, and she likes to eat my sourdough, and now she's been making her own. If you look at 30 plants a day, you might go, oh, heck, come on, I can't eat like a whole cauliflower and a bunch of carrots, and don't be ridiculous. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about micro amounts of different plants. So rather than just looking down at your plate and going, excellent, it's full of plants, step one. Step two is to look down at your plate and go, excellent, it's full of plants and they're all different to the plants that I ate yesterday. So the way that you can increase and cheat, and this is where I got interested, easy fancy, remember, is by, well, lots of things actually. Smoothies, you can put loads of different plants in there and you've probably got yourself at 15 before you've even finished breakfast. But then, you know, salads and stuff like pesto is brilliant because you can just load up as many different herbs. Every herb counts, every seed counts, every spice counts. So, you know, it's not eating whole cauliflower. You can count anything that is plant, that's fiber, and that counts. The other thing is flour. So this is where I got onto my whole flour buzz, and all of a sudden flour didn't just mean white wheat, nothing else. It hasn't for a while with me because I think when you get into baking, it's really nice to actually taste flour, and put this to the test if you like, but when you take a white plain wheat flour, and she talks about understanding flour to the degree that, you know, not that we do, but let's imagine, we know where it grew, how much sunshine it was exposed to, how often it was rained on, that it was an actual plant, and that plant is delivering all of its nutrients to you in the form of flour. It really changes the way you think about flour. Flour doesn't just become this ubiquitous thing that you grab out of the shelf and you use the exact same flour for everything. So she talks about making your own flour blends, and I just became obsessed with this really quickly because it was my kind of little bit witchy, but also, you know, you end up eating something delicious and it's good for you. So it kind of ticked all the boxes. But this is a flour blend that I made yesterday, and there's no rules with this. If you have a really powerful blender, or I have a Vitamix, whatever you have, you will need something like that. You literally just walk around your kitchen. If you have a garden, even better. Walk around your kitchen and your garden and throw whatever you can in there that's plants. So in here, we've got whole chickpeas, whole flaxseed, triticale, oats, green tea, rose petals, black lentils. This is all whole. What else did I put in there? Coriander seed. And then you just blitz it up. And so did anyone count? I think that was like about 8 or 9, right? So in that, if I put just a little bit of that in my bread or in my gnocchi, then I've introduced those extra 9 or 10, however many plants I've put in here. Or you have a piece of toast in the morning and you're already up to, you know, 12 by the time you put some more plants on your toast, some kale and some mushrooms and whatever else you like to eat. So it's just brilliant, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to pass that around and everyone can have a little smell of that and pass it on. Can that be autonomous with, no, you don't do flour? Oh, right. Okay. Don't have what I'm going to cook then. Oh, thanks. You're a winner. All right, so while Chantel's doing that, I'm just going to mix this. Yeah, come on over, Esther. Get in amongst it. So you want to bring the mix together, but it's gnocchi, remember, so we don't want it to be hard. And I should probably get that water on to boil, shouldn't I? Do you mind just popping that water on to boil? Thank you. You think I'd be able to do 18 things at once, but how's that flour smell? Like you can actually smell it. It's so exciting, and you can just put whatever you want in there and then, you know. Well, everything that's in that flour, well, my oats aren't certified gluten-free. Oats are gluten-free, but they're probably produced in a facility that has gluten. But otherwise, everything in that flour is gluten-free. But the spelt that I'm using is not, unfortunately. Sorry. But it might be worth you checking out the book, because it's the Fiber Fuel book, because it's an excellent way to understand how you can aid your digestion, and especially being celiac. You can make gnocchi good. God, Esther, you're just on fire. She's brilliant, isn't she? She's like this little, it's like my conscience sitting out here just chatting to me. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, but it's real. Yes, you can make this gluten-free, and I have. What I used to do many moons ago when I had the farmers market stall was I did my own blend of flour. And now that you know about that flour, it's probably not that big a deal, big as stretch. But I used to do 10 different flours to make up my gluten-free mix, and then you could just swap it 1 for 1 with any flour. But there's a trick to that, and I'll tell you, because it's not one of my commercial products, because there's no way it's going to be. It's way too tricky, and the ingredients are expensive, super expensive. So if you want to do your own gluten-free flour mix, just make sure you go for 70% protein flours and then 30% starch. If you get that ratio right, you're going to be able to swap it out. Do you? Okay. And so do you 70% protein and then 30% starch? Yeah. And that's when it works. Yep. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay. Let's get this gnocchi out, and our water's happening, isn't it? Now, this is nice and soft, but you're going to do a bit of a feel thing with this. So just move it around in the flour and make sure that it absorbs a little bit more because this is super soft. We just don't want it to get to that hard stage, because then we're going to roll these out to be like little sausages. And depending on which flour you use will depend on how much it will absorb and the hydration rate that you'll need. My hands are super clean, by the way. If anyone's ever tried making cheese, you will know how unbelievably clean you need to make your hands. Your whole world becomes like a hospital. Okay, so let's make some little gnocchi. So I'm just going to cut this up so that we can do some little sausages. And then I'll get back to that. There they are. No, I'm joking. Yep, and you have one each. It's all good. Okay, so gently, gently roll these into little sausages. You getting all this, Esther? Yep, you're good. Excellent. Okay, and then just chop them into little gnocchi. Now, if you wanted to, and you can check this out on, if you go onto All the Things Instagram and you go onto our IGTV, then we have done videos for all of this. So you'll be able to see the recipes, and you'll find the recipes on the website as well, allthethings.com.au. And the way that I did them for the video, because, you know, you have to be a bit fancier when you've got a cinematographer. I'm not having a go. I think you're doing an amazing job. Is I took them from that stage, and then have you guys seen like the little butter paddles, and then you just roll it down a butter paddle, and it just adds a pattern and it's kind of cute and you feel a little bit fancier, but you don't need to do that. You can just do them exactly like I'm doing them now. And you can see it's pretty simple, so that when you make this for friends, you can do it while everyone's hanging out having a drink. Or if you don't drink, that's cool, neither do I. But wow, I tasted that apple cider from Adelaide Hills from these guys over here today. So good without alcohol. Amazing. There's so many amazing drinks now if you don't do alcohol. God, I can't believe it. The all the gins and it's just brilliant. You know, and I feel like it's almost like vegan cheese. You know, there's nothing to miss out on these days, is there? You know, have cheese, you can have sausage, you can have, I don't know, chicken if you want, but it's all vegan. It's kind of amazing. Oh, look, if I'm doing these little like this, we might have more than one each. Yeah, I know. Heck, that was worth it, wasn't it? Okay, and then after we cook these, we'll do a burnt butter. Well, it's not really burnt, but that's what, you know, chefs call it. Brown butter, let's call it that. We'll do a brown butter with some sage in there, and that's it. Although I do have some Gamasio, and because we were talking about increasing our plant diversity when we're eating, Gamasio is amazing because it's got like, I think there's 9 or 10. You'll have to read the ingredients. You'd think I'd know, but right now I just can't think. But Gamasio, does everybody know what Gamasio is? Okay, let's go through that. So Gamasio is, and I am mixing cultures here, but you know, hey, everybody's cool with that, right? Gamasio is traditionally a Japanese seed and salt mix. if you've ever gone to a Japanese restaurant and had sushi, you've probably sat down and had like sometimes furikake is another version of it, where it's literally just sesame seeds and salt, and then you can sprinkle that on your food. So that's the idea. That was the inspiration, I should say. I love Japan and will go there at any chance. But one of the things that I came back with from one of my trips was Gamasio, and just used on everything because, I mean, it's kind of two-pronged. If you're trying to cut back on salt, you're adding sesame seeds at the same time. So you're actually not using as much salt, plus you're getting all the calcium from the sesame seeds and all the fiber and, you know, all the good stuff. So I was just using it on everything. It's where I'd use salt. And so when we were looking at the range for all the things, I had already been making it at the farmers market for a really long time, and people knew of it. And one of my friends, and I just don't know how appropriate this is, but, you know, I'm just going to say, she calls it vegan crack because she feels like everything she puts it on, then it just makes everything taste better and she just can't stop using it. So you use it like you do salt. But what I've done is I've added way more seeds and nori and orange zest. And it's just delicious. But from that point of view of all of the different plants that we were talking about before, you've just done that and you've sprinkled that across, you know, that earlier toast that we were talking about with the kale and the mushrooms. And then you put some Gamasio on that. Probably sitting at 30 plants before you've even finished your pot of tea, which we also do, by the way, in all the things. We do teas. I don't know how the heck I would have survived the last couple of years without a lot of tea. What kind of rituals were people doing to keep themselves sane over the last 2 years? I mean, thank God for dogs, right? We had dogs, tea. Well, you're just an adorable creature. You can stare at me. I'm more than happy for dogs to stare at me. I have 2 border collies. They would be an absolute nightmare if I considered bringing them here. You know, they live on our property and yeah, I don't even think they'd understand that there are this many people on the planet or that, you know, these buildings and stuff exist. What the heck's that? They go into the town and they're very confused. You know, we've got a population of 3,000 and so it's busy. It's busy for them. All right. I'm running out of room here, so that's lucky that we're getting to the end. Are you wondering how the heck I'm going to get them off this sheet? Yeah, me too. I just, you know, thought about that because we had to bring everything. And obviously coming down from the Barossa, I was like, right. It was a classic because my girlfriend helped me. And there we were walking up North Terrace and I've got my blue esky behind me. And I got to the gate and they said, oh, sorry, we don't have your name on the door. They did. They did. I am legitimately meant to be here. I didn't. Can you imagine? And who was that? I don't know. Did anyone get her name? Yeah. And so we walked up and I said, oh, you know, my name's Cherie Hausler. And the lady on the gate was looking and she's like, you know, isn't that the worst feeling when you turn up somewhere and then you're like, oh, crap. Oh, no, please. Like, maybe this was all imagined. But, yeah, she saw that. She said, well, I think I'm just going to take your word for it because I'm not sure that anyone else would go to the bother of, like, hauling a blue esky with, I can show you what's in it, I said. Then they found my name, so it's all good. That's how you get into places. You just take your esky and they go, heck, she must be serious. Yeah, all these things you don't think of. Right. Oh, no, Esther's car park's running out. Who's going to take over? We can't break the Instagram live. Are you on? Excellent. Thanks, Esther. You did a great job. Should we all give Esther a bit of a round of applause? Thanks, Esther. Nice work. Nice work. Okay, are we boiling? Let's just rev that up just a little bit. I'm so glad you know how to use this thing. Yes, excellent. Right, how am I going to do this, team? Maybe don't look. It's not really working, is it? No, faster didn't make any difference either. Okay, if I pick this up, oh, you've got a phone. Thanks. Oh, look at that. It's just like on Sesame Street where they say cooperation. Okay, awesome. Yes, we are greater than the sum of our parts. Okay. If we've got a rolling boil, I reckon we're going to be good to go. The thing that I really, really love about gnocchi is it tells you when it's ready. Have you cooked gnocchi before? No, really? Nobody's, oh, come on. Okay, good. Okay, good. You're like, what? Okay, don't get splashes. They're all gathering. All gathering down there. Okay, so nobody told me what they were doing to keep themselves sane over the last couple of years. Is it years? Swimming in the ocean. Yes. Oh my God, how good is nature when you're freaking out? You just go, yep, okay, I'm totally unhinged here, but I'm going to have a touchstone and it's going to be bigger than me and it's all going to be okay. Yeah, the ocean is just awesome. You what? You didn't like the water, but then you learned to love it. Amazing. Heck, that's a good COVID outcome there. Anyone else? What were you doing? Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe then you just don't have a chance to think about it too deeply, right? Because you're too busy doing stuff. Yeah, okay. That's definitely a coping method. Tea. Seriously, I really go with tea. And it's about like choosing the cup and then, you know, the tea that you want, but then choosing what little vessel you want to put your milk in and then what little snack you with it. See, that takes up like 10 minutes a day where you don't have to panic about the world. And cooking. I mean, I think that's why the whole sourdough thing just went berserko around the globe, because learning a new skill is an excellent way to distract yourself. You know, better than getting drunk. Well, people could argue that, I suppose. Have a glass of water. Oh, I see what you did there. Are you debating whether that was funny? Oh, they're chatting to each other. Okay, so yes, the cool thing about gnocchi is it will tell you when it's ready. See, when I did this in my head at 2 o'clock this morning, it was much neater than that. But anyway, it's all right. Look away. There we go. We've got a clean board. Okay, so they come to the surface to tell you when they're ready, which is just brilliant, isn't it? Because you don't need to be an extraordinary cook. You just need to gaze into the the crystal pool and it will tell you. Some of those are still coming up from the bottom, so I'm just going to leave them all in there until they are done. And then we can make our butter. Right. This is our butter. I know there's loads of vegan butters out there in the world now. This is not a margarine. This is a butter. And if I'm going to just, you know, drop names, which I haven't yet, you have to admit, I did 13 years with Maggie Beer. You may have heard of her. This is her favorite product in our range. So when I launched everything, I said, heck, what am I doing? And she went, no, that's good. Keep going. And I sent her every single product that we had created and she was great. she, you know, gave me really constructive criticism on stuff, and she said the things that she really loved. You know, she was all in, which was awesome. But this was her favorite because, well, and actually, here we go. I'll drop another one. And Simon Bryant also said the same thing because he's just a gorgeous thing. And I sent him everything as well because I had the chance to get to know him over the years. And he loved the butter as well because you can just do everything that you would do with dairy butter with this, which you can't actually do with margarine. You know, you can do some things, but you can't do everything with margarine. Okay, that I reckon is sorted because they're all up at the top. So without a sink, we're going to magically drain these. I'm just going to use my slotted spoon. They smell really good. You guys will get a chance. You're not smelling this, but, you know, imagine. And I'll just pop a little bit of oil on those until we get to the stage where I can put the butter on there. The butter will happen quickly. Okay, this is, I was thinking that if I didn't have a sink per se, that it might be a bit tricky, but we've done well. So there you go. You don't even need to worry about having a drainer. As long as you've got a slotted spoon, the gnocchi are going to forgive you. Make sure you do a stir. Do you know, one night I made these and yeah, see, there are little creepers down at the bottom there. And I did this with the slotted spoon, but I didn't dig down, and we finished dinner and my husband was like, that was amazing. Oh God, I could just eat like 4 more plates of that. You know, skinny vegan. And I said, yeah, I just didn't feel like I made more than that. They're all at the bottom of the freaking pot. And I was like, oh heck. Okay. They're the little gnocchis. You're doing an ace job. Look at you go. How's everyone going out there in Instagram Live land? Everyone here's having a good time, right? Oh, you guys. Thanks. Totally step up to the mark when I need you. Okay, so why don't I do this? Oh, does this automatically go off if I take it off? Oh, does it? Okay. Is that one on? I reckon I'll go high and I'll put some butter in there. I'm just going to pick off some sage leaves. Now, this is another cool thing. You know, we were talking about the whole eat more plants thing, but eat more diverse plants. If you have a garden, the most brilliant aspect of that is that you get to eat not just, you know, the veggies, but the entire life cycle of the plant. So the seeds and the flowers and the fronds and the petals and all of that, which I just love. So sage flowers, look at those. Are they not just such a gorgeous thing? And then the fennel, but I'm going to put fennel pollen on at the end. Still counts as a plant. Still counts as a plant. Okay, let's get some butter in here.
Can I ask what you're using specifically? Like, is there a brand that you're using, or did you make that yourself? Or
this one?
Yeah.
Yes, Chantel. It's all the things.
Beautiful. Just checking.
Of course. So this is, oh, heck, how good does that smell? Can you smell that through your mask? Yes, good smell. Hashtag good smell. Okay. No, so this is our turmeric butter. Yes, but it doesn't have a load of turmeric in there. Now, you want this nice and high when you do this sage because you're doing a crispy sage. Such a good smell. Such a good smell. Okay. And that's done a lovely crispy thing. Oh, yeah, I did bring it. Just had one of those panics. So let's do this, and we'll get those out. Yep. I reckon that's good. Okay. And what we're going to do, if you don't, oh, look, it's like sizzling steak at a Chinese restaurant. If you don't do oil, look away. I love oil. I know that that's probably a bad thing to say, but heck, I really do. Okay, so that's a delicious thing. And then we're just going to make it all the more delicious. So we're going to keep adding some plants here. I'm going to put some of these little sage flowers on top. Pretty. You can smell it? Smells so good, right? Yep. That's another thing. Oh, heck, COVID. If you have a garden, you just go out there and you just go, it's okay. Just growing food and everything's going to be all right. Look at my artichokes. They're blooming. Just takes you out of your head for a little bit there. Right. And fennel pollen. Who's done fennel pollen before? Can I?
Never. That's
that?
amazing. Didn't even know you could use it.
So good, you guys. You know, I'm just obsessed with fennel flowers in general. So one of the things, if you go on to All the Things Instagram, see, everybody has to be following us after this now. Not you. It's okay. There's a little recipe there. If you take one of these flowers, if you take one of these flowers, and are you ready for it? And then you melt chocolate, and then you dip that sucker straight into the chocolate. I did that for Easter for my dad, and my dad's not a big sweets person. My mum, on the other hand, no problem. She'll eat my dad's sweets. But I did that, put it into chocolate, and they sit like that on a plate. Oh. They sit like that on a plate because they've got chocolate on the bottom. And oh my God, you just bite the whole thing off and you've got like the anise from the fennel, and it's like a healthy bullet. Remember those licorice bullets? Yeah, that's what it tastes like. Anyway, we digress. Okay, so fennel pollen. It's very fine. I don't know. How much are you seeing out there? You're going to get to taste it. But the fennel pollen is the most amazing little flavor bomb. Can you see some of that dropping? I know it's very tiny, but you'll be able to taste it. It's just one of my favorite things. You know, it's a bit chefy, isn't it? But that's okay. We're not holding it against the chefs today. Surrounded by them. And then to finish, Gamasio, of course. And, you know, now we've gone to Japan and we've got Italy and we've got veganism and we've got my garden and heck. But I'm just going to put a little sprinkling of this. So that's going to give us some seeds and salt. And you just can't stop, can you, once you have all of this stuff in front of you. And a little fennel, fresh fennel, fronds. Try saying that fast, 60 times. Okay, what do we think, everyone? Shall I come round and show you before I just destroy the whole thing and put it into little, yeah, okay, let's do that.
Cherie, can you show the
Yes.
camera before you walk away?
Oh,
there,
heck.
quickly. Hey, look at that.
Is that helpful?
Beautiful.
Is everyone at home seeing that out in Instagram land? Yes, nice. All right, let me share it with all you guys as well. Not for you, puppy. Just hold your little nose. You've been very good. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, there's some good smells there. Nice, nice. I feel like an airline steward. And would you like a drink with that, madam? I'll take tea. Yeah, good answer. Tea. Exactly. Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, there's some good smells there with the sage and the everything. Nice. You can see the sage, little purple sage flowers, and the fennel pollen. Did everyone see the fennel pollen? The little bright yellow. Yes, it's so nice to have access to all of those extras when you have a garden. Any keen gardeners in here? Yeah, good. Yeah, good. How are your sweet peas this season? Did you grow any? No sweet peas. I went berserk on the sweet peas this season, which I eat as well. Yeah, good smell, huh? Are you thinking that I made it just for you? And for you, I made it just for you. He's like, don't bring that near me or I'm going to eat your arm off so that I can get it. All right, should we divvy this up? How the heck are we going for time? Right, 10 minutes. Look at us. We are just doing it. Okay, I am more than happy to answer any questions you might have while we divvy this up
So
seamlessly in the background.
Tane's got a microphone. He'll come around to you. If he can just keep hold of the microphone and hold it for you, that'd be great. Just raise your hands if you have questions.
Tane, you have the best hair I've seen all day. Seriously. That is awesome hair.
It is actually really awesome hair.
Did you grow it yourself?
Just going back right to the beginning where you were saying about your gut health and the books that you actually read. Can you please go back over which books they were and so I can write them down?
Yeah. So Fiber Fueled by Will Bolsewitz. Don't ask me to spell his last name. Don't ask that. And also The Sourdough School. And that's Vanessa Kimmel. Kimball. The Sourdough School. Yep. Both of her books are really good, but the second one is the sweet sourdough, and you get stuff like kvass. Has anyone made kvass before? Yeah, but you make it with Earl Grey tea, and I'm like, Earl Grey tea is my world. And so, and you make it with sourdough starter. I just did it. So we're shooting a TV series as well, guys. We're in our second series. First season went to air on Channel 7 last year, and we're shooting the second season now. We've sold the first season to SBS, so that should get a decent run. Don't know where it's going with. SBS will replay it. Yeah, 32 times. Yeah. So I will definitely announce that as soon as I know where it's going. But anyway, we were shooting last week, and I've got 2 more episodes Monday, Tuesday to shoot. But we made kvass, so it will be on the series. I took it to a winemaker, a friend of mine. It's Peter Lehman's son. It was a brave move because, you take a non-alcoholic beverage to a renowned winemaker. Yeah, he liked it. Spoiler alert. Okay, so did you get both of those? Excellent. But the sweet one is great because Tim Spector does the foreword in that, and he knows everything about this realm at King's College. But yeah, Vanessa now has accreditation through general practitioners or something in the UK, like her sourdough course. It's amazing. Yeah. No, it's not gluten-free. No, it's not. But I reckon after you read Will Bolsewitz, are you celiac? Okay, it might change you might be able to, yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Just here quickly. In your video of making this for the gnocchi, I note that when you were de-seeding the from the plant, you had this really cool knife that had the holes in it.
Oh my God, how cool is that?
Where did you get that from?
I know.
It's so cool.
You don't want to know what I paid for that. It was ridiculous. I became so obsessed with that knife. It's from Facture Goods, and he's in Chicago. And he hand makes everything, and that little bronze knife he handmade. Yeah. But you know what? I love it and I use it. And so I'm happy to spend money on stuff that I just appreciate somebody's efforts, and it's not going to disappear. So yeah. Facture Goods, FACTURE GOODS. Yeah. He's amazing. Yep. Yeah. It's a little knife. What we're talking about, it's a knife and it has holes cut in the side, so similar to the holes here, but they're different size holes, and you can have the knife sitting like this, and you thread the herb through one side, and as you pull it through, it just takes all of the foliage off. I mean, it's super cute, and you just, yeah. Stuff like that I get a little obsessed with. Any other questions, guys? Yeah. Yep. Yes, the oil in the butter. So we have an extra virgin olive oil. It's organic. We have organic coconut oil in there. We have nutritional yeast, turmeric, and Himalayan salt. So a lot of our ingredients are organic. We're not certified organic. It's kind of a bureaucratic nightmare for me from a commercial food point of view, which is unfortunate because it's important to me personally, but from a business point of view, it's cost prohibitive and it's just too difficult. So so that's what's in here. But in here, that's the oil that the episode that I was just talking about, where we went and caught up with Phil Lehman. This is his oil. So we had a chat through his olive grove, and yeah, he gave me some of his oil. So it's an extra virgin olive oil. This is like 3 weeks old, I think. So it's really amazing. It's just so precious. They don't always get oil because they dry grow, and so depending on whether it's drought or not depends on whether they get olives or not. So it's not an every year thing. It's not a big commercial thing for them. It's a really small thing. So it's, yeah, it's a very precious thing that that he shared. Of course I paid him for it, but you know, still he shared. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, so in Adelaide, we're in Foodlands, and we're also in House of Health, and oh my God, so we're distributed around Australia, and for me to try and think of where we are. What you could do is go onto the website, and we have a stockist page, and that will tell you in each state where we are. Yep, and it also has our distributors. So if you think I want this product and I want to know where it is closest to me, just call the distributor. That's the best way because they'll be up to date with where products are. Yep.
And all of the recipes will be on our Facebook page, and there's an cookbook to be able to recreate what Cherie has done today, which is fantastic. Yes, absolutely. It's fantastic. Thank you all so much for coming. Cherie, any last parting words for us?
No, thanks so much. You guys were fantastic. Life felt normal for a minute there, didn't it? That was so good.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you.
If you guys, when you're clearing out, if you could take your little bowls with you and put them in the green bins outside. Really appreciate having you guys. There's a half an hour break.